Leo, are you trying to manifest a new career or a new direction in life? I think this pertains mostly to your career right now. That's more in alignment with your soul purpose. Have you done the work to figure out what your soul purpose is? That's definitely a big message that's coming through for you guys right now. Yeah, there's something about your career. There's something about what you're currently doing. It's definitely career specific right now for you guys. There's something that is out of balance, okay? Sitting in the middle of this reading is give and receive. For those of you in careers where you feel like you're not giving back enough, it's money focused. And maybe that served a purpose for a while, but I see that you guys feel like your talents have gone unnoticed. Your abilities to truly connect to other people and help other people, that part of you isn't being fulfilled right now, okay? So a lot of you are brainstorming and trying to manifest some sort of new change in your career. Yeah, it might involve children. It might involve children here. Let me get a few cards on the table to get a little more clarity for you guys. But one thing, yeah, what do you desire? Okay, a big message that's coming through for you guys is Spirit is specifically asking you to invest energy into figuring out what it is you want your life to look like. What will bring you the most joy? How will you feel the most fulfilled? Because there's a disconnect right now. The work you're doing isn't making your heart happy. Some of you may actually be feeling a little depressed because you feel like your efforts are just, not that they're pointless, but they're not serving a bigger purpose. It's not an alignment of your highest good. You're really feeling a disconnect with your soul. And it's something that's making your heart really heavy. You feel very unfulfilled. I'm getting this incredible sense of feeling very unfulfilled. Okay, focus on service is being clarified with cleanse and detox. So just to further affirm, what you're doing right now, for many of you, work-wise, is actually toxic. It might be the environment that you're working in. It may be a specific community. It might be coworkers. It might be a boss. But I'm actually getting more of a collective. There's something collective. So getting the word faculty right now. So if you're a teacher, a faculty, someone who's running something, it could be a government. It could be larger. Something is extremely toxic right now. But the positive in this for you, Leo, is that you're being put through the ringer so that you don't settle for this anymore. And once upon a time, this job served a purpose for you. And it may have just served a purpose to pay your bills. There's nothing wrong with that. But your soul is yearning to connect with people now, okay? It's more than just desperately needing to be away from the toxicity. The toxicity of whatever situation you're in is pushing you closer and closer to your soul purpose, to your life purpose. It's pushing you closer and closer to just walk out the door and not come back. Now, I know you have to be realistic, right? We live, in an earthly, grounded world, and we have bills to pay. It's a part of life. I get that you can't just up and leave. For those of you who can, take advantage of that. But for most people, that's not really an option. But I'm really getting this message for you, okay? Spirit needs clarity. If you leave your current profession, or even if you continue to stay in the same fields, but you just find a new company to work for, a different school system, whatever that is, okay? You're trying to fulfill this without giving universe specific clarity as to what it is that you want, okay? So what I'm channeling with this card is to make lists. Sit down and really genuinely journal. What are your passions? What is it that you're trying to achieve? I'm really feeling for a lot of you, you're working with children, possibly young children. That's why I'm getting teachers for many of you. Okay, you're working with children. How would you like to better connect? If you were to move from the school system you're in now to, say, another school system, maybe it will require you moving to a different state. What would you hope that they would have there? A better budget? Different programs? Because like I'm just getting this visual, right? Giving and receiving that's out of whack. It's like where you work doesn't have enough money to buy the materials that the children that go to school there need, right? And so it comes out of your pocket. And how incredible are you for doing that for your kids, but you're either not making enough money to do that, or maybe the school isn't allowing you to do what it is you want, particular activities. There's just some sort of disconnect with where you're at. And here's the thing, it is a blessing in disguise. It's showing up in a very brutal way for you, I think, because universe has given you some signs that maybe you haven't taken, or maybe felt like you couldn't fulfill. And so you're being forced out the door now, okay? Don't miss this message. Now, if you're not a teacher, this could apply to any work scenario. But you guys are definitely feeling a disconnect of heart, a disconnect with your passion, a disconnect with life purpose. And that's okay. Hitting that place is so incredibly important because it motivates you to sit down and do the work, to figure out what this next step is. Brainstorm. You may have 10 different ideas of things that you'd be passionate about, businesses that you would be good at. Brainstorm with yourself. Brainstorm with the universe. Even just sitting down, even if you don't have every little thing figured out, and that's okay, just having the energy out there will manifest change for you, okay? For those of you going through some health issues right now, particularly in your heart chakra, your lungs, your chest in some capacity, a deep cleanse will help you. A juice cleanse, an herbal cleanse. I'm getting more herbal cleanse. Some of you just need to drink a lot more water. It'll be as simple as that. Sometimes I'm getting, I think it's pink Himalayan sea salt. I'm getting this visual of pink Himalayan sea salt. Sometimes when you have a cough that won't go away, and this sounds so simple, but it actually can be very effective, you mix it with room temperature water and you drink it. It draws out whatever's really stubborn and stuck in there and will help start to tone down the cough. But what I'm getting for most of you, if you're sick, it's buried emotion. It's buried emotion. It's the stress from this job. It's feeling like you're stuck in something that just doesn't matter to you anymore. And emotionally, it's really starting to torture you. And I think that people around you are extremely difficult to work with right now. But there's a reason for that, okay? It's another sign you're being given. Yeah, opportunity to forgive. Now, for opportunity to forgive, it's not so much, it's not even so much forgiveness. It's acceptance. It's understanding that people who are being difficult, people who are not being particularly kind to you right now, they're serving a purpose for your higher good. They are a conduit for the universe to connect with you right now, because there have been other signs. I'm definitely getting that there were other signs, but you genuinely felt like you just, what are you going to do? Where are you going to go? Are you going to go back to school? Well, for some of you, you might. But I'm getting for others of you, I mean, that's just not feasible right now. But there is a solution to this. There's definitely a solution to this, but you have to sit down and do some work. You really have to do your own homework. See only love. Okay. Even in your current situation, what I'm getting for a lot of you, it could also be karmic. It's a piece of the puzzle. Yeah. Okay. Let me show you this. I really think a lot of you are teachers. I'm just getting teacher over and over. You want to connect with your kids, okay? You want to connect, whether they're your children at home, whether they study with you in some capacity, you're a tutor, you're a teacher full-time, maybe you work at a preschool. You want to take care and love them. You want to help children heal, and maybe it's a difficult environment. Maybe parents won't let you connect with the children in the way that you feel like you really could to make the biggest difference, okay? But let's go back to karma for a second. Yes, that's definitely what's coming through. Okay. Sometimes difficult situations show up. They seem toxic, okay? I want to show you this one. Let's pull this out front. They seem a little bit toxic, and that's because they are. Maybe different faces, but same issue showing up, okay? It's an opportunity for you to react differently right now. Instead of being angry that somebody was a little condescending, instead of resisting when someone tells you, no, we're not allowing you to do that with your children, or we don't have enough money, or whatever the case is. What is the deeper meaning here? Aside from universe giving you the sign to genuinely consider a different career path or a different environment, that person who's condescending at your job, for some of you, they remind you of your mother or your father. The very first person you think of, that's who it is. And there's this karmic element that's attached to them. Now, here's the thing. You can move on to a different environment, but until you deal with this karma and at least acknowledge this pattern that's continuing to repeat, this mom or dad energy that's showing up for you as an adult in this environment, until you acknowledge it, it will continue to repeat with new people wherever you go. So before you leave, before you start out on a new adventure here, please tie up these loose ends. And this may not happen overnight. You may have to finish out a school year. You may have to finish out a semester. You may have to stick it out a few more months. For what it's worth, it will be worth it for you in the end, okay? I know it's difficult, but there are hidden blessings in this situation if you see love. If you say, okay, well, I'm going to have healthy boundaries. Instead of getting all upset and reactive, I recognize when this person does this, that this is, whoever from my past showing up again. Okay, universe, I see the karma in this. How can you send them love? You recognize that that person who's being condescending to you, they're deeply insecure. Can you feel a little compassion for that? The more love that you can infuse into the situation, the more understanding, the more compassion that you bring to the table with these people. It doesn't mean that you have to tolerate bad behavior. That's not what it is. You need to have healthy boundaries with them, okay? But the more compassion you bring to the table, the more healing will come full circle for you, and the quicker it will come full circle for you. But another message here in dealing with these people is being assertive. It's not about being aggressive, and it's definitely not about being passive aggressive. Those two extremes, they won't get you anywhere in this. It will just create more karma, and you'll be showing the universe that, you're not ready to move on from it. The second you realize it is a karmic lesson showing up in your workspace, sometimes overnight it does start to heal very quickly. All of a sudden that person decides they're going to take another job somewhere else, or a new job opens up for you, or it's just calmer, it's more peaceful, okay? But it's about forgiveness at the core of this. Giving and receiving an opportunity to forgive are at the center of this reading. There is something deeply, deeply karmic. Now, when you start to handle the situation, and it takes some trial and error. Sometimes karmas show up, karmic lessons, and we go, okay, I'm going to react differently. You still may not handle it perfectly the first time around. It's okay. You'll have other opportunities. Karmic lessons don't go away until we've truly learned them. But the message for you is to learn how to handle them differently with healthy boundaries and see some sort of love and compassion there. Okay? But don't take anybody's shit. Like, that's not the message. You're allowed. Exercise that self-love. You have to have that at the core. From that point, you start to manifest. You start to brainstorm what it is that you truly want? How do you want work to feel when you're there? What environment? Can you make a list of like 5 core things that you can't live without? What pay do you deserve? If it's in the same field, how can universe open a new door and bring in something that's healthier and more fulfilling? So say you're a teacher and there are budget cuts and okay, you move into a different school system. Maybe it's another city, a different state. Would you hope that they have a budget for music? Is that something that's a priority to them? Music, sports, make a list of these things that this will help universe connect you to your life purpose with much more ease, okay? But the other part of this too, that I started to talk about at the beginning of this video, was this focus on service. This disconnect for you guys. What is it? Maybe you don't want to be a teacher anymore. Maybe you're over it, okay? You realize maybe the school systems, it's very political and you see things in a different way and you've always wanted to help children, but you realize, okay, I still want to do that. I still want to connect with children, but how can I do it different now? You really need to brainstorm on this. What does your heart need? What is your life purpose? Spirit will help you. Once you start to brainstorm, you'll get more signs, you'll have more clarity, you'll start to channel things. Other people will show up and present new opportunities to you. Or when you're applying to other places, you'll actually hear back from people in a reasonable amount of time. There's something very karmic going on with you guys right now. I'm also getting that some of you don't want to be in a 9-to-5 anymore. Are you over that? You want to work on something a little more creative. Yes. Okay. I think some of you have just been doing so much work, changing your life. And this is a beautiful affirmation that Spirit recognizes that you've done a ton of work. And maybe you're a little further along than other Leos right now, and you've maybe started that new business or that new job, or you've come a long way dealing with those karmic lessons, and reward yourself. You've done a great job. But what I'm getting for so many of you, even with this card, is children again. I'm getting children. You love working with children, and you're so good at it. They love you. You connect in a way that many other people can't. It's just something very special for you, and it's very pure, and it genuinely comes from love. And that's why it's so frustrating in your current job. You can't have this connection. You can't reach these kids like you genuinely want and need to, okay? The acceptance card is understanding that it is going to be time to go for so many of you. Accept that you can't keep fighting the same people in the same system. Accept that it's scary as hell to start a new business, to start over at a new company. But it's time. Be honest with yourself about this, okay? Because the more you resist that, the harder the karmic lessons will continue to be. And the more volatile the environment will be until you just wake up one day and you say, I can't do it anymore.